we're trying to break the world record today, if everything works well. World record is currently 222 miles an hour. The last run of this car was 218 miles per hour, and we geared up. There's so many variables with those cars, and there's just so much going on. After all, you're talking about a toy car expected to do 220 something miles an hour, which is obviously crazy. So all right, here we go. So we're ready to go. GPS is working. We're hoping for a world record. There's really no telling track start because there's just so much going on, so many variables, so many components to those cars, wheels, motors, ESCs. There's just so much going on, radio. So hoping for the best. All right, I'm excited. Here we go. I did not hear the frequency I wanted to hear from the RPM and the motor. Sounded it's obviously well over 210 miles an hour, yeah, but I don't know if this is it. Hold on, Shaha. Well, let's see. You never know with those speeds. And stop, read. No, 214. Yeah, it just wasn't overheated enough. So 214 miles an hour. We tried, good solid run. Let's take the car to the bench. 4 ACs, 4 motors. We got pretty much everything perfect pass. If you guys are trying to build the same perfect pass chassis, body mounts, bat wing, shocks, A-arms, drive shafts, pretty much everything perfect pass rc.com. So yeah, let's charge it up, hit it up, and try it again. Track start. And here we go. Now you see, this is actually very, very interesting, and this is your homework for the next 10 seconds. You see, a normal speedrun is very linear. It sounds like... But then in this last speedrun, and soon we're going to actually analyze and see exactly what happened, and you guys get to guess first, it actually sounded like that at top speed, like something got loose. You know, honestly, I have no idea, but let's analyze this together. See, this is one of those things that can be many, many things. The thing is, I saw the wheels after the run, and yeah, they were blown, but not as bad, to be honest. By the way, you guys asked me about this DeWalt. It's actually gyroscopic, so you press the button. I saw the wheels after this 207 mile an hour run, and they were blown, but not as bad. What I do see here, the gap between the pinions, a little bit too much gap. Diffs are there, man. Diffs are good. All the axles look very, very good. No pins missing on any of the axles, CVDs, or the rear. Ultimate drive shaft, everything looks good. I'm just trying to see if every individual pinion is actually still attached. Let's move this motor as well a little bit. Nope, that's what we suspected. So this pinion got loose out of the 4. Soon we're going to analyze these two. But that's it. That's what happened. This is, of course, cut pinions to fit. So motor feels healthy, but obviously this pinion got loose, and that's why we heard this. And let's see what we got with this one. How does that feel? No, this one is connected. We're happy. And this one. Wait. I think this motor is actually blown. So this motor is good, the front motor. This motor, by the way, 17, 1650 for those who ask, with Mamba X8S. This motor we have the pinion out, and this one, ugh. This is very weird actually. It's a weird behavior. It almost sounds like it's a little bit loose, but at the same time, is it loose? Hold on. Let me get a convincer. It's not loose, but look at that stator. All right, interesting. All right, let's go back to the runway for the other car. By the way, for those who ask, this is my charger setup and this is my heater setup. So this is how that looks, just lunch heaters that I disconnected from their original pouches. And I built a box, and that's pretty much it. It gets pretty hot actually. So this is how the rig works. Cable connected here, 2 dual eye chargers with a cable, very thick 8-gauge cable. This is like the Castle cable, 2 QS8, and that goes to the car battery with a 100 amp fuse, because that entire setup, when you charge 2 8S's in parallel with 10 amps each and a heater, you're talking draw of about probably 65, 70, 75 amps on that cable. Talking about a field repair, man. Jesus. Nice. Oh, I'm gonna break it. Oh, everything is falling. Oh no. You got it. Easy, man. Easy. Okay, now the next one is me. Let's connect. Hello. It's me. You know what? I'm gonna stop singing because I don't want to get a copyright strike. And because I sing so well, the algorithm might think that I'm actually Adele. GPS works. Track, start. Good luck, Kari. Yeah, it's in there. Guys, watch it. Going for a run. Bye. Thank you. A little bit of trimmage. A little bit more of trimmage. Something is wrong. Okay, it's barely stopping also. Now this little buddy is even more of an enigma. Obviously throughout the run I noticed, halfway through the run I noticed something was wrong, and I inspected the entire car, and this was actually a tricky one, and here is one sound you never want to hear. So before that, obviously I checked all the differentials, everything, bearings, everything is great. Drive shaft is good. Everything is just perfect about the car. Everything is on the up and up. Everything exactly where it's supposed to be. The motors actually spin. Life is good. But then I actually said, okay, well, maybe it's the systems. I don't see any sign of burn damage. But when I touch the motor wires, this is the sound that you really don't want to hear. Actually, let me zoom in. Well, so in a minute, we're going to take these two motors out. Those are the 4080s 2022 CM. They actually did a great job. This car, let me tell you, man, this was a working horse for a very long time. This car probably have around 20 to 25 runs, each run over 200 miles an hour. We had a ton of 203s, 205s, 207, 209, many 210s. This car, at some point, I thought it was cursed because it did like 5 times in a row, 210. And with a PB of 211 miles an hour. So this was a working horse. Those systems and these motors owe me personally nothing. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Here's what I think happened, because when the car returned, both of these were just boiling. They were extremely hot. I could barely touch the motors, and the ESCs were hot as well. I think one of the systems said, okay, I'm done, thank you. And then one motor was pushing like crazy, working twice as hard because now it had to push another system that is pretty much incapable of pushing and just stalling there. And then the other system, because this one is spinning, became a 200-mile-an-hour generator pretty much, destroying both the motor and the ESC. So it's just a good combination of ruining everything in one run. Like I said, it owes me nothing because this has been a working horse for a very long time. Let's take these motors out and see exactly what this sound is all about. I think the wires are just charted. All right, nice. So we took both motors out of the car. We actually smelled them thoroughly before we actually took them apart, because if not, I wouldn't do it. And let me tell you, smells like heaven. Well, like hell, actually. They're both obviously burnt. This tells the story. You guys probably can't see too much on camera, but they are burnt. Now, they're not really fully burnt. They're partially burnt, which I know it sounds weird, but soon I will explain and show you guys a very interesting experiment for those who are curious. This is how the 4080 2022 CM or SVM, I forgot, rotors look like. This is how they look. Now, when I say they are not fully burnt, this is what I mean. Let me put you on a tripod. Okay, so what makes a motor burnt or in bad shape, right? These three phases coming from the ESC, obviously the ESC is firing at those three phases. This is a three-phase motor, of course, an AC, an alternate current motor, and ESC, obviously. Now, those three are actually getting into one motor, right? Really close to each other. And you might ask, well, how do they not short? The thing is, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, those wires, this is why I have this meter here. All right, contact meter. Those wires actually are insulated, okay? Each and every one of them. So they're not going to actually arc. If I actually put all these wires, which is supposed to be just a normal electric wire, right? If I actually touch both, they're actually not conducting because each individual string is actually insulated. This is why you can't just solder bullets if you actually shorten your motor wires. This is why the manufacturer provide us with a little area here that is actually not insulated, so we can actually solder our bullets to it. Once you want to shorten your motor wire, and you're just trying, a lot of people are doing it, and pretty much once they do it, it's done. But they cut their motor wires, and they're trying to solder a bullet, and it's pretty much impossible because they're trying to solder metal into plastic eventually, because they are all coated. These are all getting into the motor. Those three phases are being fired by the ESC, and they're not shorting each other or firing at each other because they're all insulated, so they have to go through the entire wind and stator and whatnot. But let's not get into this one. It's a little bit too complicated. I don't want the video to be too boring. The problem is, and this is why you should not overheat your motor again and again and again and again, those insulations for the wires deteriorate over time. And the more they deteriorate, the more they are a little bit closer to each other when it comes to contact and actually arcing. So the internal resistance of them all, I know it's getting too boring, sorry about that, is getting higher and higher. So the motor is increasing its resistance again and again and again. Now, some will say, well, motor is just one moving part, right? It's either it works or it doesn't. Not really. Motors can actually deteriorate over time, and a huge part of it, regardless of the rotor and the stator and some other parts that are inside, for the sake of this video, a part of it is the insulations of the wires deteriorating. Let's just say that this one is covered with some kind of plastic, Teflon, whatever, and it will get to the point that at some point you have some arcing, and then the ESC is pretty much firing at itself, which is really not healthy for the ESC. That's why once you have burnt smell, some of them will keep working, but some of them, if you have a lot of load, for you bashers, you're giving them like 100, 200, maybe 300 amps, you might be okay with a partially burnt motor, and you can keep working with it, all your bashers, off-road and on-road as well. But when it comes to high, super extreme load, 600 and over amps, once it starts arcing and the resistance of the motor is a little bit too high, the motor is pretty much done. That's exactly why now these ESCs are still considered good, but I'm actually going to replace them because ESC firing at itself, it's not an ESC that I'm going to actually break some records with. So those ESCs, yeah, they might be good for like 160, 70, 80 miles an hour tops bashing, if you will, speed runs. But for the top notch, the high numbers, the El Hombre, 190s, 200, 210, and maybe even 220, these ESCs or motors, of course, are not something I am going to trust. Nice lecture. As for this car, I got myself 4080 2400 kVs that's supposed to rip. I've heard really good things about these. And two brand new ESCs. We're going to replace everything, take it out to the runway, and hopefully rip. It's going to be pretty cool. I guess this video didn't really have a explosive climax moment, right? It's just, oh, we did burn some batteries. That's kind of climax-ish. Yeah, here it is. Man, look how puffed. Yeah, I think it's time to retire all of these. These batteries probably have a good 25, 30 runs, full blast, 200 mile an hour plus runs with overheat and overcharged and heating them up, of course, to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it's time to say goodbye to these, and to these we're probably going to blow them up, put them in a bucket with some water and salt, let them sit for a couple of days, and discard them in a safe manner. One more somewhere. Yeah, so that was exciting enough, right? Guys, don't try this at home. This was very dangerous and done by professionals. In the next videos, I just acquired a brand new Arma fire team. So we're going to make the sickest Arma fire team out there. So this is coming. I just finished building my dual motor. So this one is coming soon sometimes. Until then, you guys be safe. And thank you for being a valued subscribers. If you're not subscribed already, consider doing so. Until then, I'm Raz Shifrin. Over and out. See ya, guys.